Hello everybody. I'd just like to go through some of the highlights of our council meeting which we've just finished for the 5th of October 2021. It's been a busy meeting. We only just finished in our 3-hour time limit. Well, we had a slight extension, but there was a lot on the agenda this evening. An important contract about the bitumen sealing of our roads. We all know how important our roads are in East Gippsland, and this is about providing funding for the resealing of our roads. 1,157 kilometres of sealed roads, and they need to be resurfaced every 10 or 15 years. And this contract will also cover the dust suppression of some of the unsealed roads as well. So that's a very important contract. There was an audit and risk performance review which was adopted by council. Audit and risk is very important subcommittee to council, and like all of their work, they approach this annual performance review with a lot of determination and thoroughness. So council tonight accepted their report. There are a few little areas of improvement that they want to undertake for the next 12 months, which will make that subcommittee work even better. So we accepted that. An annual report was accepted and endorsed by council this evening. Now, every organisation knows how important the annual report is. Hopefully it will be read by more than just the councillors and the council officers who did such a wonderful job of putting it together. It's a fabulous record of a really important time, I think, the last 12 months of council. And for me, one of the biggest highlights was how it brought forward all the work that's been done in that 12 months to support our communities in the bushfire recovery period, but also during the period of COVID as well, which covered the whole of that report. It covers part of the previous council and some of the early months of this new council. Some of the other highlights I think were around the amount of advocacy that council has undertaken during that time, and $25.5 million in grant funding was obtained for building initiatives, infrastructure, but also community development programs which have been so important during this time. The annual report will be available. I really recommend that you have a look at it. It'll be available on our website, and hard copies will be available from our customer service centres as well. Just as an indication of how busy the last 12 months has been, 70,000 pieces of correspondence were responded to. Isn't that amazing? So it was business as usual, as well as all those challenges and disruptions that happened over the year that I think made it such a remarkable year. So that's where you can get the annual report from. There'll also be a little video that's made too that will be available through our YouTube channel. We adopted a mutual respect charter this evening also in council. It's sad to hear that there are increased incidents of unacceptable behaviour in the interactions between our council staff, who are often working out in the field, but also in customer service and things like that. So this is a charter which clearly documents the expectations for our community when they interact with council, and it's mutual. It goes both ways. So a very important piece of policy, really, which has come from the City of Stonington. They gave their permission for us to use it. So this is not an issue just in our council, but other councils are finding the need to adopt these charters and policies also. A public transparency policy was also adopted. So this was a requirement of the new Local Government Act, and the first one was actually adopted by the previous council, but for review in 12 months' time. So that's been looked at, and the review was passed this evening. Mostly there were structural changes that I think were made to that document in the review process. There was a change of the instrument of delegation to the CEO. A lot of questions about this from the councillors to make sure that it was well understood, that the delegated authority has been set at $1.1 million, and that allows the CEO to make expenditure up to that level, but only on legislated expenditure. So just for non-negotiable things, I suppose, expenditure that has to be paid. And an example was the increasing amounts of our insurance policies, which don't happen very often. Maybe once or twice in 12 months is the expectation that instrument will be used. There were 2 planning applications. One of them in particular was the subject of a great deal of interest in the community, a large development of 208 lots on 30 Clifton West Road. Council did not come to a decision on this item. We were unable to make a decision on that. The second planning application was a small 2-lot subdivision in Stevenson's Road, Tambo Upper, and that was refused on the officer's recommendation also. There was a submission to the draft marine and coastal strategy. Obviously, coastal areas and their care and their use and their development and their protection are incredibly important to us in East Gippsland because we have such a large coastline, and also very sensitive, estuarine areas and so on. So this is a submission to a strategy that's being developed by DWELP, and that was approved by council to go forward. And we finished the evening with some fantastic grants. So the Arts and Heritage Grants, round 1, there were 7 applicants in 3 categories, and the grant funding amount was for $23,500 for those applications, the successful applications. And the second one of those was the Community Projects Grants, round 1, and there were 18 applications for that particular round. 11 were recommended, and the amount totalled just over $45,000. Actually, it was $45,500. Councillors spoke a lot about those funding rounds. We were all very excited about them because we recognise what value they add to projects in our community. So it was wonderful to see the diversity of applications and the geographic spread and the innovation of some of the projects which were put forward. So very exciting way to finish the meeting. We wish all of those successful applicants all the success with the delivery of their projects. Our next meeting is on the 26th of October, and it will be here in the Corporate Centre starting at 6 p.m. So I think they're the main things we covered. I hope you all stay safe, and I wanted just to thank you all for all that you do to help to keep our community safe in this time of the COVID pandemic. I hope you can get your vaccinations as soon as possible, because getting those vaccination rates high will be the key to us having more freedoms in East Gippsland. So thank you for all you do, and please keep it up.